About a century ago, Louise Weber, one of the first female filmmakers in the history of cinema, made the film Shoes in 1916. The film tells the story of a woman whose family is so poor that in desperation she sells her virginity to be able to afford new footwear. Aside from being the first film ever made about shoes and its significance in dealing with issues of social injustice, it also showed us the level of importance a pair of footwear has. First of all, shoes are the primary intersection between our body and the physical world around us. They protect our naked feet from injuries. Foot is literally a unit we use to measure distance. It is human beings' first form of transportation. And with shoes, we can travel safer and further. They get us to places where we want to go. Metaphorically, they help us to excel and reach our goals in life.
Go get him, Katie.
On the contrary, the lack of shoes for slaves and prisoners restricts their mobility. As a result, we commonly perceive those who are shoeless as the poorer individuals in the lower class of a society. But aside from the obvious physical advantage of wearing shoes, the type of shoes we wear also symbolizes our status.
And shine my shoes. I want them looking like mirrors.
Shoes give hints about a person's character and identity, whether it's social, cultural, sexual, professional, or personal.
Do you know what you look like to me with your good bag and your cheap shoes? You look like a rube.
We often see the appearance of two pairs of shoes showing the difference between two characters. At the start of Stranger on the Train, we are introduced to our protagonists by the close-ups of two pairs of shoes as they arrive at their station, a pair of brown and white brogues and a pair of plain dark-colored shoes. We later on learn that the fancy brogues belong to Bruno, the psychopath murderer with a wacky, showy personality, and the plain shoes belongs to the conservative, innocent victim of Bruno, Guy. And this brief encounter kick-started their crossover for the rest of the film. Shoes are also commonly used for group introductions to show the different personalities in the squad, whether in a teenage film about a group of outsiders, or in a Western mystery film to show a gang of visitors' arrival in a snowstorm. Throughout history, there has always been a tension between the role of shoes in their socio-cultural function to fit in within the social constraint and their functions as personal garments used for self-presentation. The dynamism of a unique pair of shoes definitely makes you stand out. Shoes can be a mark of individuality, often as a fashion gadget. Whether it's Ariel's red boots in Footloose, Vivian's over-the-knee boots in Pretty Woman, or even Elizabeth's Louboutin shoes in Bad Teacher. In the Toy Story franchise, the name of the toy's owner is literally written on the bottom of their shoes.
We wouldn't even be together if it weren't for Andy. Look under your boot, Buzz. You too, Jesse. Whose name is written there?
Shoes were so important to the identities of some characters that they not only become a big part of the posters,
holy shit,
but even a part of the film titles. Whether it's Miranda Priestley's Prada heels in The Devil Wears Prada, or the black boots from Puss in Boots, they both symbolize a sense of classiness and grace. And here's a more extreme example of unique shoes. Let's say you want to be a random target that attracts the unnecessary attention of CIA double agents. How do you do it? You simply wear a pair of mismatched shoes.
Le grand blond avec une chaussure noire.
A one-sandaled man shall come, and no guard shall protect you from him.
Similarly, Jason and Argonauts also played with this idea that a man with only one shoe will become the hero in the prophecy. Ironically, 20 years later, Jason saves his enemy from drowning in the river, and he only loses his sandal while doing that, transforming him into the legend that he will become. Shoes change the way we move. They change our self-awareness and how we carry ourselves. The change of shoes often suggests a transformation from unattractive to beautiful for female characters.
Sandy.
The first time we meet the distraught spinster Charlotte in Now Voyager, she is shown only as a pair of clumpy lace-ups descending the stairs. But after her psychiatrist Claude has given her self-confidence, we meet her again. This time the makeover shot starts with her brand new fashionable high heels and pants up, to make it clear that she is a changed person now. That doesn't mean all character transformations that happen with shoes work out or end well. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, Marion accepts the bad guy Belloc's offer of a pretty dress and a pair of white heels in the hope of seducing him so that she could escape. When Belloc betrays her, she is pushed into the well of souls with Indy. She loses a shoe and we see a snake slithering through the open toe, because that shoe was never part of her real identity. But when the shoe does fit and becomes part of the character, that means the happy union of a loving couple. So that was obviously a nod to the old tale of Cinderella, except that in Cinderella, the glass slipper also served as plot device for the prince to confirm her identity. But it doesn't always end in fairy tales of happily ever after. Sometimes it can also mean the doomsday in Inglourious Basterds.
Voilà.
Shoes are incredible tools for filmmakers to show the identity and status of the characters.
The real question is, what are those?
Why do you have your toes out in my lap?
But you don't like my royal sandals.
But on top of that, high-tech shoes can especially amplify our body's physical capacities.
Fully automated, like the old American movie Baba used to watch.
This is often seen in superpowered shoes in superhero films. And before the trend of superhero films, we see this trope of enhanced shoes used in action films. Spy films.
其實我着緊呢對鞋
And even comedy spy films.
都係一個風筒嚟。
Why are you talking into your shoe?
The old call forwarding from the shoe phone to the cell phone so you don't know where I am, and then I appear on the roof behind you and surprise everyone trick.
A special mention should be made about the red shoes for their special kind of potency.
What you're doing here in Berlin.
I've got the shoe.
In the fantasy and musical genre, red shoes seem to have a visceral and transformative inherent magical power. In The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy magically receives the ruby red heels from the feet of the Wicked Witch of the East. When she puts them on, she's no longer a helpless child, but transforms into a strong woman who holds power in the land of Oz. And the heels also grant her the power to go home.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
On the other hand, the red shoes can contain too much power on its own and overwhelms the owner who's wearing it. In a beautifully tragical and allegorical tale, The Red Shoes, the film features a ballet about a pair of enchanted shoes that cannot be taken off. The red shoes here function as a metaphor for the obsession of an artist in her passionate pursuit for the perfection of the craft.
They dance over the mountains and valleys, through fields and forests, through night and day. Time rushes by, love rushes by, life rushes by. But the red shoes dance on.
The shoes brought Victoria joy and success, but it also became a curse that she can never escape, which inevitably leads to her destiny of self-destruction and sacrifice. Usually, such worn-out shoes in films symbolize the history of a dead person's presence. They tell us that this character has been to certain places or went through certain incidents. Maybe in the world abundant of fancy footwear, it's hard to recognize the significance of a simple pair of shoes. So if you want to watch a film centered on the significance of one pair of shoes and forcing the audience to contemplate the functions of shoes, check out Children of Heaven. At the start of the film, Ali lost his sister Zara's shoes. And because their family were too poor to afford another pair of shoes, the siblings decided to keep it a secret and share the same sneakers every day. Throughout the film, we keep getting different hints on the importance of shoes. They were promoted on TV, in the shoe store, in the school environment, around Zara's friend, and even by the teacher.
ببینیم بچه‌ها، یکی از دلایلی که فریشه نتونست پرستشو خوب انجام بده به خاطر کفشاش بود.
So naturally, Zara was pissed at her brother.
من چه کفشاش رو پام در میاد. من شخصی تو کفشامو گم کردی. یه کفشامو پیدا می‌کنی یا به بابا میگم. کفش خیلی کثیف شده. مردم نمی‌افته پوشمه.
Since Ali felt guilty about losing his sister's shoes, he attended a school racing competition because the third prize winner will get a pair of sneakers.
اگه سوم من کتونیا رو میدم به تو.
But since he ended up getting the first prize, he didn't get the sneakers.
آقا سوم شدی.
He won the race, but he lost his battle. But the loss of shoes took the siblings on a memorable journey. A journey where they connected with strangers. A journey where they connected with each other. They learned to put themselves in each other's shoes, literally. And after all, it's the journey that counts. So next time when you're watching a film, take a step back and look at the character's shoes.
I mean, seriously, how often do you really look at a man's shoes?
Because shoes are a part of us, but they also transform us.
Until that moment, he didn't exist.
Shoes represent our identity and our journey, until they become our destiny and even our legacy. So, what does it mean when we're not wearing shoes? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.